Yo, what's going on? We about to get into a very I kind of changed my stance on the topic only because of growth, and I was looking at things from other angles that I typically look at things at, but for some reason I was being biased to the situation, I guess. But from the beginning, if you're first time here or if you're back again and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, like the video, comment, let me know you in the building. Let me know you got something to say with your feedback. Whether you agree with me, don't agree with me, you want to add on, whatever the case may be. I definitely always try to get y'all real content, like I always say. Real topics, real discussions, man. We're going to get into it. And what spearheaded this, right, was last week, or maybe a little less than 2 weeks ago, Kanye said that he was going to give Beanie Sigel $50 million because Beanie Sigel was the first one to start calling it Yeezy, because Beanie Sigel wanted to make him feel like he belonged. Like part of a crew type time, right? Which was definitely admirable. So he started calling him Yeezy. Quite naturally, we know Yeezy today. They had the Yeezy shoe brand, and dude value total net worth with all his companies, the business ventures, and all that stuff. Like value that over $1 billion. So he says we'll give Beanie Sigel $50 million for being the creative mind or creative thought behind the term Yeezy. So people automatically looked at me and was like, did that make you feel some way about Jay-Z? That Jay-Z ain't doing nothing like that for Sigel. Well, first they asked me how did I feel about Kanye West saying he was going to do that for Beanie Sigel, which I get the etiquette of it, which, the etiquette is a lost art. The principle of the etiquette, the homage, whatever you want to coin it, right? My boy in here right now, so I'm smoking the stepped on stuff. You're probably gonna watch this and laugh at me. But hold on, I gotta send a text. Real quick. I just seen the police like deep as hell, and I know somebody's driving and drinking and shit, so trying to look out for the nigga. But so I gave my thoughts on that part, like out and open. Well, Kanye, technically, do we owe Beanie anything? Nah. Which I mean, it depends on the optics you're viewing it from, right? Because there's a well-known story of how Kanye was either in New York or Chicago, but I want to say New York, and some gang dudes was kind of pressing him. He was on a date, and some dudes was kind of pressing him, pretty much on the type time like, we ain't gonna let you leave here, we gonna rob you as soon as you step outside. He called Matt, and Matt came through and made them dudes more uncomfortable than they was making Kanye. It's safe to say Kanye got home safe and he enjoyed the rest of his evening. That's a real life incident that took place. And so, like I said, it depends on the optics you want to view it from. You heard? I'm gonna pull over so I can send this text, because I want dude to have a heads up just in case he decide he gonna bounce. Oh, cut my fucking hand. Give me 1 sec. Dang, that's crazy. Bear with me 1 second. And I don't know what I don't know what phone he got with him, so I know I got like 2 numbers for son. What number is this? 479. So I'm gonna text this other number I got for him too. He like me. Couple phones and shit. Oh, I never copied it. I think it was this phone, because it's the last year. It's this phone. I want to make sure I do my civic duty. You feel me? But, yeah. So, you're asking me pretty much. So, that was my take on the Kanye part of it. You did. Which leads me back to, so then the following question was, how do I feel about, do I think Jay-Z should have had done that? So, over the years, you know, people know that. I mean, I still think dude has some questionable character traits. Like, I don't care about your bag, man. See, people, ain't no other way for me to say this. People dick eaters, man. They'll give a pass to anybody who got a couple dollars and they don't care nothing about their character, their principles, their morals. Like, I don't care about that. I can care less about it. I mean, just like he can care less about my opinion. Like, I understand that. I'm still going to be truthful, though. Like, that's just how I'm cut. You stand on what you stand on. Some of you dudes don't stand on nothing. That's why you can be bought. You got a price tag on you. Don't get mad at me. Get mad at your mother. You heard? So, when it comes to Jay, I still feel this way, though. But now I'm more center divided on it. Well, it should be totally Jay-Z just a crab, right? And with the respects of this, when people say that Sigel messed up that situation too for a while, was always getting locked up and all that stuff, I dig it. You're right. But this is my beef with it. As long as Jay-Z can capitalize and make money off of that imagery, you feel me? That imagery is what, that realness within Sigel is what helped propel Rockefeller in that street sense. Like, it made them that much more realer because that's the element that Beanie Sigel brought to that label that it was pretty well known, right? And they was able, as a company, to market off of that and capitalize off of that. I always go back to that video where it's like Beanie Sigel always smoking that la la la, or somebody Bleak always smoke. Whatever was smoking la la. Beanie Sigel carried the 45. Whatever that track is. I can't think of the name of the track off my head, but y'all know what I'm talking about. It had like the little jingle shit. So that was that So that's my beef with that part of it. It's like, yeah, that's true. And then I get it that people gonna feed off you. People gonna eat off you, man. They gonna let you be a crash dummy. People gonna eat off you. That's going on well before Jay-Z, well before anybody. Like, we know who created that lane. Really created that lane, right? We're gonna give you something that you deem as being successful or something important. We wanna give you all of those means to destroy yourself. I understand that. That's what I'm saying. I can't really be a hypocrite. I still don't like so with Jay-Z, for me, it's a little different, right? And this is the reason why, my own reason why it's a little different, because you come from that area, man. You come from them zones and them places. You know what that feels like. And you marketed yourself to be more stand-up-ish and now in that kind of time, and that's exactly the kind of time you want. You proved that. You're going to get all you can get out of somebody. You're going to feed them to the wolves. That's the way I look at it. That's the way I took it. You know what I'm saying? I still took that to a degree, but I don't put as much blame on Jay-Z any longer. And the reason is this: when you come from those places where you understand how this thing works, of not being enamored with words, right? Meaning, when they up there screaming "Rock La Familia," they up there saying "I love yous" and "Oh, that's my man," and "I got him no matter what happened." Like, we hear, I mean, you grew up in that, you heard that somebody said to somebody every single day. But when it came to it and it was time to prove them words, it happened totally different. Right? We've seen it, we witnessed it. So no, they don't make it like so. That's when people start saying the streets is a myth. People start running with that, one, because it was a hot and it was some little cool little saying. But that statement don't hold no weight for me, because that's not true. The streets is not a myth. You dudes getting bamboozled is why y'all say the streets is a myth. The love is a myth. I agree with you on that part. The love is a myth. The streets ain't a myth, though. So I had to change my stance on that and hold Beanie Sigel just as accountable, because it's like, you fell for the okie doke, pimp. It was messed up because if somebody played on your emotion, somebody played on your loyalty, somebody played on your honor, and that's never fun. But you gave dude the room to do that. Because you don't know dude, you ain't play wall ball with him. You ain't play catch a girl, get a girl, ding dong Dixie. You ain't sleep on the floor, pissy mattress. You ain't break down a chicken wing platter. You ain't break down a freaking 100-pack. you ain't do none of that with him. You ain't do none of that with him. So the amount of loyalty that you can expect, I mean, you can't even really expect loyalty from people you did that with. So you definitely can't expect complete loyalty from somebody in a game just as dirty as drugs, because the music game is just as dirty as the streets, for real, for real. That's the ugly truth that these kids and these people that's running to that game don't want to grasp and understand. That game just as filthy, man. And if you fall for the banana in the tailpipe on that, then you got to take some of that responsibility. Really? You definitely got to take some of that blame if you fall for the banana in the tailpipe. No, that don't give a person a pass for doing some crab stuff. But they can't, but that full weight ain't their responsibility. So that's what I'm saying. Like, over the years, anybody that know me, and when we had this conversation, it was 110%. I'm looking at the board like, no, he's a crab, he's a nut. Lyrically, he fired. Music-wise, he fired. But as a man, I don't mess with him. Now, there's still something I don't mess with, because there's nothing you can convince me otherwise. But in this scenario with Jay-Z, I don't look at that as absolute as I once looked at it. You know what I mean? But I also don't agree with if somebody's my man, somebody was my man, I said I had genuine love for somebody, I'm never going to run around. I mean, it got to be something super crazy and deep, like, but I still don't see it. Far as me running around making records about them and talking about them and backbiting them, and not if that was really like, you know what I'm saying? Not if our relationship was really like that and we had a falling out for whatever reason. I still can't see, because what people got to understand is this. I read a quote. This had to be like March time frame of this year. March, April, but I want to say late March. The saying said, the quote said, a person's actions, a person's like wrong actions is their karma. Your response to their wrong actions is your karma. just like, oh, wow. So really that whole eye for eye theory, and I always said that, but you know what I mean? I got duplicity like anybody else. I don't be trying to hear the righteous stuff all the time, not especially not when I get in the bag. But I always say somebody's ills and foul ways or whatever, however you want to frame that, that's on their character. That's on their character jacket. Don't trade places with a dummy. I always say that. Don't trade places with a sucker, not a dummy. Never trade places with a sucker. But then, like I said, I have that duplicity like everyone else, so I don't always be on that kind of time. Sometimes I'm like, oh, you want to play? Let's play ball. You know what I'm saying? But when I read that, no, I mean, that's growth. Like, that whole saying, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. People don't always be ready to get those lessons to take them to the next level. You know what I mean? They don't want to, you know what I mean? Especially like when you be on what you be on, like you waiting for somebody to act up so you can stretch your legs a little bit. But I overstood that. You know what I mean? I overstood that when that was said. It was like, oh, wow. That's heavy. So I still don't give Jay-Z no pass for coming to Philly, doing a show in Philly, and calling the police in there to get Sigel out of there. I still don't agree with that. That's crazy. That's crazy. And I ain't saying you supposed to get into a gunfight with him. I ain't saying you supposed to do all this wild stuff with him. I ain't saying that. But I believe in my heart of hearts that you definitely could have handled that Joan a little better. Personal opinion. You feel me? Just personal opinion. But yeah, like I said, personal opinion. Not like I matter or like that. Like I think I'm, you know what I'm saying? I ain't no arrogant dude like that. Like, oh yeah, I believe that whatever I say go and he care about my opinion. But I mean, when you break it down, I guess when you look at it and weigh and measure, there was a lot of faults on both sides. And a lot of Sigel faults was, like I said, the front end was giving somebody that level of respect and loyalty based off of them signing you, I guess. You look at your mind like, he gave me opportunity, he put me on, but talent is talent, G. You'd have got put on regardless. You'd have got signed regardless. It wasn't like he came to Philly and found you. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like he taught you how to rap. It ain't like he wrote your bars. This ain't no Biggie and Lil C situation where he was writing C's records. C's just rapping. It ain't that. So your talent is what got you signed, man. You would have got signed regardless. No matter how it shook out, you would have got a deal. You know what I mean? Now, granted, you were signed to the hottest label in the industry at that time, so that was a good look. Facts. Great look. Not good look, great look. But I think dude became enamored with the fact of who he was and what the label was doing and how much noise they was making and how much visibility they had and how many connections he had to get you even higher visibility. Like, I think all them things went into, you know what I mean? Like that respect and loyalty factor. But it's typical block stuff, man. Listen, I equate stuff to the block, whatever I do, because it's easier for me to understand. Whatever the path of least resistance it is for me to understand, that's what I'm going to go with. Fact. And typically it's some block stuff. I can break it down to the essence, and I'm going to put it, and I'm going to do a correlation where I can fully understand it. Well, I ain't got to do no calculus, man. It's 1 + 1. Okay, got it. Right? But, so Sigel was at fault in that light. Fact. He was at fault. And he was at fault for how he responded to the griminess that Jay-Z displayed. You know what I mean? The lack of loyalty on that end. Because, yeah, if I come to you and, okay, whatever happened, right? You took the stand on me and you told the judge, no, you won't be responsible for my whereabouts if he let me out on bail. All right, you don't want that level of responsibility, you think. But at the end of the day, that don't really make sense because he got house arrest at Dame Jones in a penthouse in Manhattan or whatever he had, whatever space Dame had. He was house arrest at that location. So all the way up to the time he actually went to the feds, he was there. He ain't get in no trouble. You know what I mean? But okay, at the end of the day, it's not your responsibility responsible for a grown man to behave. I give you that. You get no argument with me on that part. Right? So, but even if he did feel slighted by that, okay, that's subjective, right? Not really for me, but for others, I can see the argument both ways, right? Now, if you want to say, when you got out of jail, you said you weren't going to pick between your two friends, but however, you still wind up going back with Jay, I can see the argument on that. You won back. No matter how you bring it back, you won back, right? Now, I think this is the part where it gets a little bit less subjective. If I come in your office and say, yo, I'm not really eating over here with you. I got somebody that's going to offer me a little bit better paper and a better situation for me, career-wise, and you say, nah, pimp, I can't let that happen right now because it's not advantageous to you for your company, for your brand. But you not, you know what I'm saying? But you've never offered me what somebody else came and offered me, right? You're still my man. We still gonna rock. But I need to go over here and do what I need to do for me and mine, as you have done for you and yours. And you tell me no. But now it gets to the point where I'm no longer beneficial to you. You just let me go free and clear and leave me stuck. Now the situation I had ain't available no more. And you don't work behind the scenes to even help me get a whole nother situation. Now that's where it becomes less. No, that's still messed up. If that's the way it happened. If that's the way it happened, I wasn't there. I could only go by what was said. You know what I mean? Now, if it played out just like that, that's foul. I don't care who you is or how you bring that back. That's foul. That means you was never my homie. I was only an asset to you. And while I was no longer an asset, I became a liability that you could cut ties with and cut your losses on. But meanwhile, I did nothing but in this scenario took losses. The company still made more money off of me than I was given from the company. That's always going to be the case because them contracts are not in the artist's favor. Which leads me to, in 2021, as an artist, coming into the game, or you've been in the game a while, if you're still signing bad contracts today, don't bring that to the internet, pimp. That's 110% on you. I don't want to hear nothing about no lawyer. I don't want to hear nothing about no management team. I don't want to hear nothing about none of that. Nobody want to hear that. Because all the information that is out there today and all the public knowledge out there today about how bad these contracts is, these 360 deals, and historically how they've taken advantage of the artists. If you stood out there signing bad contracts, man, because you wanted to sign a bad contract. You wanted to sign a bad contract. You know what I'm saying? I don't care who you is. I ain't got no picks. You got dudes who got a dime in the game. You're talking about bad contracts. Whose fault is that? There ain't nobody fault but yours, man. Charge that to the game. Wear that. It don't do like the rest of these crabs do. You complain about these bad contracts, then you try to sign somebody and get them an even worse contract than you signed and say, somebody did it to me. You gotta wear that. That's a character defect. That's like saying, I'm not gonna raise my kids because my daddy and my mama didn't raise me. So I ain't gonna raise my kids. Alright, I see what time you want. If that makes sense to you, that makes sense to me. Have at it. Have a party with it. But don't get out here and get mad when somebody air you out and say how you tried to play them and spin them with a bad contract. And then try to justify why you offered them that contract and then double back and say, yeah, but I signed this contract that was terrible. And then they won't let me have the contract, so now we're going to go through it. Come on, man. And that's not even nothing you can pinpoint and point to one person. Because probably 90% of these artists are in bad contracts, man. These probably 90%. I'm being nice with 90. I'm being far too kind with 90. %90 of these dudes, man, are in terrible contracts. Terrible. They signed to like 4. They signed to somebody. They signed, or they already got a management deal here, which, you know, that takes out, what, 10, 15%? Up to 20%, depending on what number you sign. Anywhere from 10 to 20%. So, you got that management deal. You know, they responsible for booking your shows and trying to get you endorsement deals and all that little fine stuff, right? So, 10 to 20% of whatever deal you sign, they're going to be a part of. Then you got a label deal, which we know what label deals, you get a penny on a dollar. You get a penny on a dollar. You got people out here getting like $15 for every $100 the company makes. I think, I want to say $100, it could be $1,000, but, oh, like, no, it was, $550 for every 100,000. It was something like that. Like that was the latest contract I read that somebody signed. I want to say it was like $550 for every 100,000. Somebody's had a #1 album. I think it was a female. But these dudes signed the same contracts. But I want to say it was a female who signed a contract like that. And it was like $550 or something like that for every 100,000. It could have been $2,500, but I don't think it was that much. I think it was like $550 for like every 100,000 or something weird, something crazy, right? So you ain't really making no money off of music itself. You making money off your tours. You making money off of merch. You making money off of endorsements. You making money off of features. You know what I mean? But your albums itself, off the streams, because you know physical copies don't sell like that no more. So you ain't really making no money off the physical copies. You better off just dropping singles. Really, forget the albums. You really just, it's more beneficial to drop a single and just try to run the numbers up on the stream tip. You know what I mean? Because there's going to be less money involved from a marketing, from producing the track, the whole nine, than it is for an album. So you better off just doing a bunch of singles, man. And pushing your music that way. And if you indie and you making $100,000, you making some 100,000s, you better off staying indie, man. Better off staying indie. Better off. Yeah, you may not get the big endorsement deals and all that. I get you on that, but you probably gonna wind up over the lifetime earning more money, having way more creative control, and you're not going to be in debt. You know what I mean? So it really just depends on what you want out of it. If you want to reach markets like that you don't think you can reach organically on your own, going independent, and you think you need that major to get you heard overseas in the different markets, and that's what matters to you. Having a couple chains, couple cars, your house rented, your life rented. All right. If that's cool with you, then it's cool with me. I can't tell you different on that. But most of the time, from my experiences, most of the time is that they say they don't care how they get in the game. They'll get in there any way they need to get in there. But then when they get in there and they sign those slave contracts, when the money wear off and that little run they had wear off, right? When all that little stuff wear off and that reality start hitting them, when they try to figure out how much paper they got stacked, how much what moves can they really make, right? And they realize how much money they don't have. The tide normally changes, and now all of a sudden you hear them blasting the label. When they were just bigging it up, like, well, that's my man. There's nothing but love over here. It's fam over here. You know what I mean? And then when that reality hit, it's like, oh no, this ain't my man for real. Dummy. Took you that long to figure that out. Sorry to hear that. You feel me? But that's all for this one. I'm gonna circle back probably next 2 or 3 days. I got some more things I want to talk about. But likes, subscribe, share, comment. Let me know you was here. Let me know you still riding. And I'll be back. I'll be right back at y'all, man. Holla at me.